Okay, ladies, I have my pattern pieces cut out. I am super excited about this pattern because it's new and amazing. I love it. I think I love it the most because it's knit. You know, like I really love me some knit fabric. I love it. All right, so let's get started. This is what we have here. This big piece right here is our skirt piece. We should have 2 lining pieces, okay? That'll be the front and the back, okay? We also have our front and back main piece here. This right here is our side pieces. You should have 4 of them cut out, 4 main pieces cut out. I have my sleeves here. I'm doing the short sleeves, and I also have my, my flutter piece cut out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just tell you when it comes to for my flutter sleeve piece here, you have 2 options. You can fold the raw end by like 1/4 inch and then sew to hem, or you can just leave it raw. I'm gonna leave mine raw because I'm gonna leave my raw ends out, only because knit doesn't fray. So I mean, I'm not gonna do nothing extra. So what I did was, if you're going to just continue to have your flutter sleeve raw end just raw, what you'll do is just cut off down on the bottom here 1/2 inch, just to shorten it. All right, so that's what I did. So let's get started, y'all. Okay, so I have my 2 bodice lining pieces here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna open them up and put them right side together, just like this. And I will match at the shoulder seams, pin and the side seams, and I will also pin and do my 1/2 inch seam allowance zigzag stitch, stretch stitch, whatever stitch you use that's gonna stretch with this baby, you use it, okay? So let's pin. All right, so I'm gonna take this to the machine, and I'm just going to do my zigzag stitch along both shoulder seams and side seams, and I'll be back. Okay, so I have my flutter sleeve pieces here, and what I'm going to do is I am going to take this also. I got it on the wrong side out here. Missed it a little bit. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to take this to the machine. Right now I have it on the wrong side out here, but I'm going to take both of my pieces to the machine, and I'm going to do a basting stitch, your gathering stitch along the straight edge here on both of them, and I will also gather my flutter sleeve pieces here. So, and I'll be back. All right, so I have placed my front main center pieces together, right sides together, just like that, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to the machine, and I'm going to do a 1/2 inch, so a 1/2 inch seam allowance connecting my front and back main pieces, center pieces. Also grab my back side pieces here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place these right sides together. All right, got one, because you should have 4 of those. So place that one right side together, and do this same step for your other one. Right sides together, just like that. I'm going to pin and sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance on my shoulder seams also, and I will also press, and I'll be back when I'm done sewing my pieces together. Okay, so I have my center main front and back pieces together, and both of my side pieces all sewn together, and I also, you can see, I finger press my seams open here. All right, so I'm gonna put these to the side, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to grab my ruffle pieces here. Grab both my ruffle pieces. Okay. All right, so I have my main centerpiece bodice right side up, And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take one of my ruffle pieces. Sorry about that. Take one of my ruffle pieces. I'm just gonna just fold it in half, just like this, so I can get a good center part of it. All right. And then when I get my center here, I'm going to match this center with the center of my shoulder piece. Just like that. I'm just going to pin. And it's going to be right sides together. Okay? Just like that. And then right here, what I'm just going to do with the rest of my ruffles, I'm just going to, bring them out a little bit and then just make it, distribute, I can't say the word right. I'm going to match this to go along this edge. I'm going to make sure it's evenly along the edge of the raw edge of my center front and back pieces here. So as you can see, look, so I have it evenly, well, almost. So I'm just going to evenly distribute. I'm going to do this for both sides. I'm just going to pin, and then I'll baste this ruffle piece on my main bodice here, my main front and back bodice. And then I will be back. Okay, so I have based my ruffle pieces on my front and main center bodice. Right sides together, as you can see, just like that. All right, so what we're gonna do now is I'm going to take my side pieces, grab your side pieces here, and we're going to match these up along this raw edge. What we're doing, we're just sandwiching the ruffles in. And you can see this right here is the armhole, so when it comes out, it's gonna look, well, you'll see it'll be all flipped over like that, but it'll be really, really cute. So make sure that you do that. So this straight edge here, we're gonna put this right sides together on top of your main center bodice piece here, just like that. And we're just going to pin, and we're going to just do a 1/2 inch seam allowance along your to attach this together. I'm going to use a stretch stitch. So let's pin, and we'll do this for both sides here. Okay, so let's see. Just like that. All right, so let's do this. Let's pin our side pieces to our bodice. I've already attached my side pieces to my main piece here because I felt like my ruffles were good enough for me. And I've already trimmed off the raw ends here of my side pieces. I trimmed those down on both sides, and I went and took this to the iron and I pressed it so it can lay nice and flat, just like that. All right, and we're going to place these right sides together, just like this. And I'm going to take this to the machine. I'm going to pin here on the side, on both of my side seams. I'm going to pin both side seams, and I'm going to take this to the machine, and I am going to sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance to attach my side seams together. Okay, so I pressed my seams open here. Grab your lining bodice here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to put and this is right side out. My lining bodice is right side out, and I'm going to put this inside. Oh, and as you can see, my main bodice is wrong side out, but I'm going to take my right side out bodice and put it into my wrong side out main bodice piece, and it'd be right sides together, pretty much. That's what it is. And I'm going to match my shoulder seams here along my neckline. Open up my, all right, so I'm going to match my shoulder seams on both sides. All right, so match my shoulder seams on both sides. All right. And then I am going to pin along my neck line here, along the neck, all the way around, okay? So I'm gonna pin all the way around the neck. And what I'll do is after I'm done pinning, I will do a 1/2 inch seam allowance with my stretch stitch. And I will also just trim off 1/4 inch of my raw my raw ends here, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I have went ahead and pressed my neckline down, and it looks really, really great. And I've also went ahead and did a basting stitch to attach my lining and my main armhole together. Just make sure that you can just try to keep your ruffles out of the way, so then you will not. Hold on. See, look like, see, you see what I did? What? You got to make sure that you don't you get your ruffles out the way, or you won't have this problem. Check that out. Look, I'm telling you. Look at it. Sewing is not perfect, but you know, I ain't gonna try to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and like redo that. But yeah, make sure you keep that out of the way so then your little ruffles won't get all in the way. You know what I mean? I mean, hey, it's life. But anywho, so my next step is I'm going to attach my sleeves here, okay? So I'm going to put this to the side, and I'm going to grab my sleeve pieces here. All right, I'm going to just do a memory fold here, okay, along my bottom edge of my sleeves. And then what I also will do is, after I grab, you know, just make my memory fold here, I'm just going to take my sleeve and put them right sides together, just like that. See? So just going to take it and put it right sides together, and I'm going to sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance along this short piece here. And I'll just also go ahead and take this to my serger, and I will trim off my raw ends. And when I do that, then I will also go ahead and just hem the bottom of my sleeves, and I'll be back. Okay, so I have my sleeves done. Now we're going to attach it to our bodice. So I'm going to turn my bodice wrong side out. Just like this. So turn your bodice wrong side out. And what we're going to do is we're going to have our sleeves right side out. Okay? And we're going to put them inside our bodice. Just like this. So you see I have this is my side seam here. This is the side seam of my sleeve, and the fold here where it's going to attach, the fold here is going to attach to the shoulder seam here. So okay, so it's right sides together, putting our sleeve inside of our bodice here. I'm going to start with attaching the underarm seams. I'm gonna pin, and then just gonna pin all the way around. Make sure we're getting our flutter sleeve out the way. So it's just all of the armhole here. So just gonna pin, and we're gonna do this on both sides. And I'm going to take this to the machine, do a zigzag stitch, 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I'm also going to remove my raw ends with my serger, and then we would be done. We'll be done with our bodice. So yeah. All right, we have our sleeves attached to our bodice. Now let's construct our skirt. Okay, so grab your skirt pieces. You should have 2, and we're going to place these right sides together. I have directional fabric, so I just wanted to, you know, you make sure it's in the same direction, okay? Let's just put these on top of each other, right sides together. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach our skirt. So we're going to put them right sides together, and on each side of your skirt piece here, I'm going to pin along both sides of my skirt pieces here, and then I'm going to sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and also just trim off my raw ends, and then I will be back. Okay, so I have already gathered and hemmed my skirt piece here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my skirt piece wrong side out. just like that. And I have my bodice piece right side out. Okay, and I'm going to stick my bodice piece inside of my skirt piece here. I'll just do it this way. Stick my bodice piece inside of my skirt piece here, just like that, okay? And I'm going to match my match my side seams on both sides of my skirt and bodice piece. Just match them. And I'm just going to, like I did a little bit of gathering, but now I'm just going to make it fit. Now there is an option on the tutorials for your bodices to put some the clear elastic. I don't ever do that. That's just my thing. I just don't. Just another step to me. So all right, so I'm just going to just gather my now I have the elastic tape, but most of the time you really don't even have it. You know what I'm saying? But I do have some. I just don't want to do it. Okay, so I'm just gonna make my bodice match my skirt gathering piece to my bodice here, and then I'll do that all the way around. And I will also take this to my machine, and I will do a use my stretch stitch. And also, let's see, it's all the way around. I'll use my stretch stitch, and I will also just serge the raw ends. And then my skirt will be done. All right, so just match these up. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this to the machine and do a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I will also serge my raw ends, and I will be back.